been on a vacation, or this is not a vacation, this is a forced vacation. I've been now 1 week off of work, and it's doing my head in. I had an absolutely horrible night, not last night, because what do you call it? Yesterday when I went to bed, I had a prayer. I had a quick prayer that, please Jesus, bless my night. Let me have a proper night's sleep. And I didn't wake up until, in the morning when I go to pee and stuff like that. But I had a good night's sleep. But the night before that, I was just tormented with worries about what's going to happen to my my livelihood. How am I going to support the family? What's going to happen? And my MS, it's taking over. We went to Juhani's. He had a new book. I don't have it here, but he had a new book published about. I think the title of the book is Jatsia Jumalan armosta, which translates into jazz, or jazz from the grace of God, or based on grace of God, something like that. Basically, that he's playing jazz because because of the grace of God. So what then happened is that what do you call it? It was a horrible weather, and I must admit that I haven't done any exercise during this week. I've been just walking the dog, or taking the dog to the dog park and doing stuff. But going to work, it's an extra motivation for me. And then I went to the customer on the Wednesday, and I mentioned about this, that for somebody working on their own, cutting their billing to 50%, it's a fairly impossible situation, because there's a lot of people who will buy 100%. Yeah, definitely. Maybe even maybe the price isn't the same as we get at the moment, but you can get a good, decent, 100% utilization. And I tried to bring this up to the customer, and he just did not understand me at all. He was just talking about his resourcing and stuff like that. What can you do? As I mentioned on one of these videos, there was a potential Swedish assignment coming up, but I haven't heard anything about that. So now I'm looking into doing just standard Java programming. I bet the price isn't the same, but beggars, I can't remember how it goes, beggars can't be choosers, or something like that. So given that there is not a tremendous variety of stuff to do, then you need to do whatever. But yeah, I was saying about this, why I was feeling so hopeless was that my condition it was just horrible. My walking was it was quite ridiculous. And I noticed the dog now, when it pulls and yanks, and if it gets tied into my legs, I look like a moron, fumbling over myself. So I was kindly instructed on the Facebook group, I think it was the Finnish one, that my method of intaking Biotin is flawed because it's water soluble, meaning that a high dosage at once, it's not going to last you through the day. So I've been racking my brain. How do I pack the powder so that I can actually transport it to work, or have it so that I don't need to be measuring every single day? So this is what I've come up with, and what I do daily is that same procedure. I've seen some people have taken actually these scoops from Amazon, but they're horribly expensive. So I found that the butt end of a teaspoon, that's about 300. Rob sent me, he mentioned about a chemist's flick, but you can't use it with this Biotin because it's too dense of a powder and it doesn't flick off like let's say grains of sugar do. So 296, that will suffice to me. Then I have this small water container. These are actually, you get these for flying on airplanes. So it contains 100 millimeters of liquid. So what I do is I take this and I dump my stuff in here, and then because that doesn't really have a taste, I mentioned vitamin C on the last one, so this instructions are 1 gram a day, so I add that in there. And now you can use the real end of the teaspoon for one. That'll be close enough for me. So that then take this, and so there I have my 300. And again, I would much appreciate if somebody would comment if it somehow gets wasted in water. But this is what I drink then during the day. It's a small container that I can easily transport wherever I go, and then I'll just drink that in 3 goes during the day. Or I can even take smaller sips along the day and get it kind of my biotin intake up to 300 milligrams a day, but spreading it out more evenly. So yeah, my morning sustenance has changed a lot. I have, however, returned one thing back, and it's an espresso. I've now noticed that I can handle a single espresso in the morning. And I don't get this overwhelming feeling of numbness that I used to get when I drank a lot of coffee. Don't know if it's because I've changed my diet in it, my leaky gut, if it even is that, would be healed, and then I don't get this strong reaction to coffee anymore. I'm testing it with these small portions, but it does taste excellent. And what happened is I had these small espresso mugs, not that high, and when I stopped drinking it, my darling wife, she had bought them for me as my present, but then she decided I don't want this clutter, and she sold them. So I don't have espresso mugs anymore. So now I take the smallest glass in the house, and then I consume this stuff. Then on offer there is goji berries, which I eat. Then my supplements, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pills. 7 pills in the morning and about 7 pills in the night. And there was a discussion in some Facebook forum that can I manage without a dispenser. I can with a straight face say that I cannot manage with a dispenser, without a dispenser. And if we look at my clock there, it's my alarms. So I've got alarms going, well, there's one for waking up during the week, one for waking up in the weekend, and 3 daily to remind me of consuming my supplements and stuff. Then I eat nuts and maybe 1 fruit. And yeah, this is the thing that is now my main breakfast since I got that juicer. So I make, it's about 1.5 liters that I store the juice, and then I drink this. It lasts maybe a bit too long, lasts like 3 days. I should consume it in 2.5 days. So this is primarily kale and spinach, and I think there's a couple of oranges. I can't remember, it's so long, or it's a couple of days since I did it. And when I eat all of this, then the supplements don't make my stomach feel funny. So, oh man. In this all, to try and manage this, because I know that if I don't eat like this, then I feel horrible. Let's say I start, eggs I do eat if they're on offer, but let's say I would start eating bacon for breakfast, I'd be in a wheelchair in a couple of weeks. Or this is my feeling of because I was living in hotels when this thing struck, and I was taking liberties in my breakfasts. So this is my feeling that if I would eat to my heart's content, I would end up in a wheelchair fast. But now with this diet modification, maybe fairly stable. But I do get these night things. I think I mentioned it on the start of this video that it was absolutely horrible. You know, these thoughts that creep into your mind. You're gonna lose all your work. You're gonna lose the apartment. You can't provide. This is, and then you just toss and turn. And then if you get a bad night, then the whole next day is bad. But anyway, oh yeah, this one of course, Bible, is morning sustenance. So today is the 16th. So that would, maybe I mentioned this once before. So it would be Proverbs 16. Pitkämielinen on parempi kuin sankari. Somebody with a, what is pitkämielinen? Long suffering is better than a hero, is the title that they're given here. And then it's New Testament. We're in Matthew 15:2. All the way through to the end of Matthew. So that's my start of the day, and it is a bit rushed. This is now a Saturday. By the way, I'm going to the shooting rink with Elisa now. We went with Sofia last Sunday, and now we're going with Elisa, and we'll see. I'll see if I can come up with some kind of a weekly schedule, if we could sit down and see if we can arrange on a day where we could go. Now I would take my own gun, and the girls could shoot that, and then I would take a 9mm
and shoot that, because it is. I tried it last Sunday, a 9mm, and it's what do you call it? It's a different tool. And one thing that I'm thinking of is, because I've had this gun carrying permit since, was it 92 or something, and I'm going to ask whether what do you call it, I could apply for a 9mm license and buy a 9mm for myself, if this becomes a hobby, and then we could go together with the girls. And you never know what kids like and what they pick up, and this might be, and it's something that I can do, what do you call it, fairly. It's a limited time, it's only 50 minutes on the rink, and then, what do you call it, it's it's not that much walking. You always you walk up to the targets and you check how you've done, but that's a fairly short distance to walk, and at least last time we did it, I managed to do it. So this is what's happening today.
It's a slow day. I need to do some work in order to get my feeling of accomplishment. And then, what do you call it? It's 10 to 6 in the evening. We start shooting with Elisa, and I agreed with the kids now that Tuesdays I'm gonna try and arrange for a date every Tuesday there, so that we get something that we can do together. So every Tuesday, but let's see how this goes first, and then we'll know. I shall compile this and, as usual, say that Jesus Christ is King. Amen.